Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes. Yesterday, IEBC, led by its Vice Chair Chirera, received the first batch of presidential ballot papers. And already, that is causing some storm. It emerged yesterday that IEBC has printed 2 sets of Form 34A labeled 1 of 2 and 2 of 2, while at the same time, IEBC has not printed Form 34B. And in response to the claims, IEBC did confirm yesterday that they have not printed Form 34B, but the forms will be generated from Form 34A. So in this video, I want us to understand the games Wafula Chebukati might be playing, and specifically on the issue of the presidential vote. Because Form 34B is primarily meant for the presidential vote. So I want us to dig deep to see exactly what Wafula Chebukati is actually up to. As I talk, Paul Mwangi, Raila's legal advisor, has written to Chebukati and IEBC requesting for a stakeholders meeting, bringing on board all presidential candidates to find a way out of this emerging mess. So in this video, I want us to dig deep to see exactly games being played here. Before we do that, if you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. Yes. Before we dig deep, it's important we understand what these forms are. And to understand the forms, it's important we understand the difference between a polling station and a polling center. Let's assume you are going to a primary school to vote. The primary school is a polling center. The various classrooms or streams, those are the polling stations. So the primary school is the polling center. The various classrooms or streams where you cast your votes, those are the polling stations. So in a polling center, we have various presiding officers in those streams. After you have voted and the votes have been counted, the presiding officer in those polling stations tabulates the results in that stream and records them in a form called Form 34A. The form is primarily to record presidential votes, and it shows the candidates and the votes each candidate has gotten. Upon recording and tabulating them in Form 34A, the presiding officer then transfers them electronically to constituency tallying center, where the constituency returning officer also tabulates the results received from various polling stations within the constituency. He or she records them in a form called Form 34B. Upon recording them in Form 34B, the constituency returning officer transfers them electronically to the National Tallying Center, in this case to Wafula Chebukati. Wafula Chebukati then tabulates all the results received from 290 constituencies based on Form 34B in one form called Form 34C, where he now declares and announces the winner. And in other words, let me put it this way. In this year's election, we have about 46,000 polling stations. So we should have 46,000 Form 34A. This year we have 290 constituencies, or rather we have 290 constituencies. So we should be having 290 Form 34B and then one Form 34C. I hope now we understand what the forms are and how a polling station is very important as far as Form 34A is actually concerned. Let's dig deep. Yes. In 2017, Raila Odinga and his NASA brigade went to the Supreme Court, and some of their grievances that are also widely believed might have led to the nullification of 2017 presidential election results was that Raila and his team claimed that Wafula Chebukati announced results of some polling stations without Form 34A, in that results were just transmitted without a screened copy of Form 34A. So Wafula Chebukati just made an announcement based on Form 34B and not Form 34A, because the forms actually go hand in hand. That was one of the grievances. And then secondly, Raila and his team also claimed that some forms had no security features, so they were not authentic. And also Raila and his team also claimed that some forms had serial numbers that were not consistent. Those are just some of the grievances Raila and his team had against IEBC in 2017. And it's also believed those might have also led to the cancellation of 2017 presidential election results. In this year's election, IEBC has not printed Form 34B, and they are claiming that it will be generated from Form 34A. So in one way or the other, from where I sit, there will be no authentic Form 34B. Any rogue presiding, or rather any rogue returning officer can just create his or her own form. And that is a loophole most likely somebody can use or rather can take to court, and from where I sit, that can lead to this year's election being nullified. That's my point of view on that. And then secondly, just basing on the grievances Raila and his team raised in 2017, it's obvious that without proper Form 34B or without authentic Form 34B, that can also raise some issues onto the authenticity of the results as received from various polling stations across the country. I honestly believe that those are very serious issues that Wafula Chebukati and his team must and should come out clearly to actually explain to Kenyans. Because from the look of things, without actually dwelling more on politics, there seems to be somebody, in my honest opinion, clearly misadvising IEBC. Somebody might be working behind the scenes to make sure that there are so many loopholes in this year's election that can just lead to another presidential election being nullified. And I'm saying that because from the onset, it's believed Wafula Chebukati started printing the ballot papers even without the names of candidates being gazetted. These are just loopholes maybe Wafula Chebukati and the IEBC are deliberately making to give somebody room somewhere to challenge the authenticity of this year's presidential election results. And in my honest opinion, the person who might be doing that is obviously somebody who has already sensed defeat. So he wants a way or a formula. This year's elections, or rather August elections, can be nullified so that that person, he or she, but now that we only have male presidential candidates, so that he can maybe have another fighting chance after after August elections have been nullified. That's exactly what I'm seeing here. But so far, Raila's legal team, led by Paul Mwangi, they have actually asked IEBC to call for maybe a stakeholders meeting with various presidential candidates to sort out the issue. From where I sit, as I conclude, IEBC should actually be transparent and follow the law as it is. Let me leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. Just as I did indicate when I was starting, in case you've bumped here for the very first time, but so far you have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. And to our fans and subscribers here, I'm very much humbled, very grateful for the kind of support you are giving me here. God bless you, God bless Kenya. And to any other person, that's the kind of analysis we do here. We don't beat about the bush. We go straight and to the point. Tamu sana, yes.